Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing everything that we know Dreamworks is coming out with that we know about as of May 2025. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. The first Dreamworks movie that's coming out is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which, yeah, I know it's not really made by Dreamworks, but it is based off one of their properties, and Dreamworks is releasing the film under their banner, so it just makes sense to include it here. Apparently, from what I've heard, critics are calling it one of the best live-action remakes of all time, and in fact, it might even be superior to the animated version. I don't think that's the case, but that's what critics are saying. Apparently, the film is so well received that Universal decided to greenlight an entire sequel. Yeah, the movie's not out yet, and yet we already have a live-action How to Train Your Dragon 2 remake that's going to be coming out on June 11th, 2027. That's just 2 years after the release of the original live-action remake on June 13th, 2025. It honestly shocks me that Universal has so much faith that they would greenlight the sequel without even knowing what the fan reception is going to be like. So with that in mind, let's move to our next movie, which is The Bad Guys 2. And this is actually going to be made by Dreamworks as one of their mainline movies, which means it will be made by both Dreamworks Animation, with about 30% of it being taken care of by Sony Pictures Imageworks. The Bad Guys 2 is about the bad guys as they try to go good after being let go out of prison, but nobody really trusts them, and now they're being recruited by the Bad Girls gang to pull off one last heist. And, well, I'm very excited for this movie. In fact, it's probably my most anticipated film of 2025. Now, the next movie that I want to talk about is one of the unknown films that I left off in the previous video. Previously, Universal reserved the date of September 25th, 2026 for the release of an unknown Dreamworks movie. Well, now we know that Dreamworks movie. The film is called Forgotten Island, and it's actually a brand new original movie that's not based on anything. It's not based on a book, it's not based on a board game, it's completely original. We don't really know much about the plot aside from the fact that it will focus on a group of people who are stranded on an unknown island that's based off of Philippine culture. We also know that it's being directed and produced by the same people who made Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which makes me think that this is going to be yet another mainline movie from DreamWorks Animation themselves. We also have Shrek 5, which is going to be released in theaters on December 23rd, 2026. We don't really know much about the plot, aside from the fact that it will focus on Shrek and Fiona, as well as their kids, especially Felicia, who is confirmed to be played by Zendaya, which means that there's obviously been a time skip since the fourth movie. Again, we don't really know much about the plot, and we don't even know if Puss in Boots is going to be in this movie, though it wouldn't surprise me if he was. The next film that I want to talk about is not really known to us. All we know is that Universal reserved the release date of September 22nd, 2028 for an unknown Dreamworks movie. Again, we don't really know what it is. My guess is either Kung Fu Panda 5, maybe The Wild Robot 2, maybe something completely original. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comments section. But with that in mind, our final movie is going to be Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which will be released on September 26, 2025. And I'm not very excited for this one, considering it's going to be a movie made for preschoolers. But then again, there could be something thrown in that makes it fun for adults too. We don't really know who is making this movie, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's being made by the same people who make the TV show. They're just given a higher budget. The plot is about Gabby going on vacation to Cat San Francisco with her grandma, Gigi, who will be played by Gloria Estefan. And then the dollhouse gets stolen by a crazy cat lady named Vera, who will be played by Kristen Wiig. So now Gabby has to go on an adventure around the city to track down the missing Gabby cats. And with all that in mind, let's move on to the TV show side of things. Of course, the first TV show we have to talk about is Gabby's Dollhouse, which is confirmed to get a total of 100 episodes. Right now, there's currently 76, which means we got a few more seasons left to go. With that in mind, I'm pretty sure that season 12 is going to be released sometime this summer before Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, comes out in September. And, well, it's not really confirmed, but that's just what I'm thinking. But one show that is confirmed is Mighty Monster Wheelies, which has just been renewed for its second season, which will be released on May 5th, 2025. Now, I've actually made a review for season 1, but I do not plan to be making a review for season 2, but I will be watching it, and if they change anything, I might change that. But with that in mind, don't expect a season 2 review of Mighty Monster Wheelies. Next, we have to talk about Jurassic World Chaos Theory, and it literally just got season 3 back on April 3rd, 2025. However, we know that the show is confirmed to get a season 4, not only thanks to the season 3 cliffhanger, but because a behind-the-scenes executive at the Mattel toy company said that they're making toys for Jurassic World Chaos Theory with 2 seasons in mind, one that's released before Jurassic World Rebirth and one that's released after Jurassic World Rebirth. So that means season 4 is going to be released sometime after Jurassic World Rebirth, most likely in the fall of 2025. And while it's not confirmed by official sources, I'm pretty sure that it's a safe bet that it will be the final season of the series. Now, this next show is more speculation than anything, but I believe that we're going to get a TV show based off of The Bad Guys. However, since The Bad Guys 2 is releasing this August, I'm pretty sure that The Bad Guys TV show has been delayed so that it will release after the movie. That way it doesn't interfere with The Bad Guys 2. Now again, this is more so just speculation, but there is evidence. Turns out that The Bad Guys holiday specials, A Very Bad Holiday and Haunted Heist, have both been marketed as part of a Netflix original series. Why would they call it a series if it's just a couple of short films? Because it's not. It's a TV show. They're just saving the main show for after the movie, because that just makes the most sense. Our final announcement for Netflix is The Wild Robot, and we know that The Wild Robot is supposed to go to Peacock streaming for 4 months. It went to Peacock on January 24th, 2025, which means that on May 24th, it will be leaving Peacock and coming to Netflix for the next 10 months. So now is the time to watch the movie, whether you have a Peacock subscription and want to watch it before you miss out, or if you have a Netflix subscription and want to watch it the day it comes out. And with that in mind, it will be released on Netflix on May 24th, 2025. Speaking of, let's move over to Peacock. As of right now, the only TV show that we know is coming to Peacock is Casper the Friendly Ghost. And unfortunately, we don't really know anything about this series aside from the fact that it will be live action and it will have more of a horror aspect instead of a friendly aspect. Unfortunately, we still don't even know the release date. It could be this year, it could be next year, I don't know. Hopefully it's soon though, because otherwise Peacock just has no new TV shows coming. Luckily, Dreamworks is still giving Peacock their movies after they finish their theatrical run, which means that since Dogman was released on January 31st, 2025, it's highly likely that the film will be coming to Peacock during the last week of May, and I have a feeling that the exact date will be May 30th, as it's the last Friday before the 31st. However, if you can still find it in theaters, I highly recommend that you watch Dogman in theaters because they're showing a short film called The Bad Guys, Little Lies, and Alibis before the movie. Not only can you go to support short films before movies, but you can also try to watch The Bad Guys short film before it becomes lost media, as it wasn't included in the home media version of Dogman, and it's highly likely that it will not be coming to Peacock. If for some reason you don't want to see the short film in theaters, you're going to have to wait a while, as supposedly it's going to be a bonus feature on the Blu-ray DVD versions of The Bad Guys 2. Now with that in mind, let's move over to our next streaming service. Apple TV Plus has two TV shows, with their latest being Berk, which just barely got its first season back in March. Unfortunately, we don't know if this show is going to get a season 2, as when Apple TV Plus ordered the series, they only confirmed that it will have one season with 13 episodes. We still don't know if that means that it's just a mini-series or if there's potential for a season 2. With that in mind, the other TV show they have is Curses, which currently has 2 seasons with 20 episodes in total. And right now, I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that season 3 will be released sometime in October 2025. And if season 3 isn't coming out in October, then it's never gonna happen. Now, I personally haven't seen either of these shows, so I can't tell you what their endings are like. But with that in mind, let's move to our final streaming service. Now, don't freak out over the footage that's being used. This is not She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Instead, we're going to be getting a live-action She-Ra TV show, which will be released on Amazon Prime. We don't really know much about the series, aside from the fact that Dreamworks is releasing the show under their banner, and that it's going to be a collaboration with the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe movie that will be released in June 2026. It's highly likely that She-Ra won't be in the movie, but she will be in the same universe that movie is set in, with the potential to cross over after her TV show is over and a new movie begins. Unfortunately, we don't really know when this live-action TV show is coming or even who the cast is going to be. In fact, it's highly likely it hasn't even started production yet. So with that in mind, the next thing I want to talk about is the Voltron movie. Yes, Voltron is getting a live-action remake movie. And with that in mind, we do know the cast, we just don't know which actor is playing which character. All we do know is that the film has actually finished filming, and unfortunately we still don't have the release date. So with that in mind, we move on to our next announcement, which is the video games. The first game on the list is Pool Masters How to Train Your Dragon Edition. Yeah, apparently on May 26, 2025, there's going to be a cross-promotional game where apparently you can collect stuff from the How to Train Your Dragon movies. No, this is live-action How to Train Your Dragon, not animated How to Train Your Dragon. So with that in mind, the next game we have is Kung Fu Panda Hero Showdown, which is an official game being made by Dreamworks for Roblox. The game is still in closed beta testing, which means that you still have to pay to play it, and unfortunately, I don't really know when the game will actually be finished or when it will be released to the general public for free. So you can pay to play, or you can just wait until it's free for general audiences. There's also this brand new video game console called Nex Playground, where once you buy the console, you can pay for a monthly subscription called a Play Pass, and you get access to a bunch of games. One of those games, not available yet but coming soon, is going to be based off of the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake. No specific date is given, just that it's coming soon, but it wouldn't surprise me if we have to wait until June or something. Also, there's currently a couple of Dreamworks games that you can play right now, like Kung Fu Panda Train to Be a Master and Gabby's Dollhouse Meowsing Moves. And the final thing that we have to talk about is the brand new Universal Epic Universe theme park, which will contain a brand new How to Train Your Dragon The Isle of Berk. The theme park will open to the general public on May 22nd, 2025. And with that out of the way, that is everything we know Dreamworks is coming out with. So to recap, on May 5th, 2025, we'll have Season 2 of Mighty Monster Wheelies coming to Netflix. Then on May 22nd, 2025, we have Universal Epic Universe opening to the general public, including the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk theme park. Speaking of How to Train Your Dragon, there's going to be a cross-promotional game for a limited time starting May 26, 2025, where you can play a game called Pool Masters as How to Train Your Dragon characters from the live-action version, not the animated version. We also have The Wild Robots, which will be leaving Peacock and moving to Netflix on May 24th, 2025. And supposedly on May 30th, we're going to get the Peacock release for Dogman. However, the next DreamWorks movie is going to be the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake on June 13th, 2025. And if you want, you can also purchase the art and making of the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which will be coming out the exact same day. Then we have The Bad Guys 2 coming out on August 1st, 2025. Followed by Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which will be released on September 26, 2025. A year later, we're going to get a brand new original DreamWorks movie called Forgotten Island. Very little is known about the plot, but it will be released on September 25th, 2026. This will be followed by Shrek 5 on December 23rd, 2026. And then we will have the live-action How to Train Your Dragon 2 remake, which will be released on June 11th, 2027. And finally, on September 22nd, 2028, we have an unknown DreamWorks movie. Be sure to leave your thoughts about what this movie could be down below in the description. But with that out of the way, thank you so much for joining today's video, and also thank you guys so much for helping this channel get to 1,000 subscribers. I am very happy that we crossed that milestone. Now, with that in mind, be sure to keep subscribing so that you can support the channel or just to get notified when I post new videos. Also, be sure to join my membership program if you really want to support the channel. But with that in mind, I hope that you're all staying safe out there, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.
It's like the size of my...